Hello, everybody. It's Baron,
With the bean.
and we are here to talk about the upcoming Nintendo Direct. We don't have a date on when that's going to be. We're hearing maybe this upcoming Tuesday, June 18th. So we decided to put together our Dream Direct. But there's a little bit of a caveat. We're going to do our Dream Direct that might actually happen, that could actually happen.
Now, we won't be talking about any known upcoming releases, such as Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Dragon Quest III HD 2D, and Nintendo World Championships, because these are all highly likely to appear in some form or the other.
Right. We know they're coming, or we're fairly certain that they're coming. There's no real point in going over it. They're most likely going to show up at the Direct. That said, we know Nintendo does have very high expectations for this year. Their goal is to sell 13.5 million units. That's a very high expectation for a console that's as old as it is. So, they'll likely need some firepower to reach that goal. So, here's the best Direct possible that we think could realistically happen. We think that probably starts with Donkey Kong Country. The last one that we saw was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It was released on the Switch in 2018, but I think a better way to say it, it was actually re-released on the Switch because it had actually come out before that. So, we know that Donkey Kong Land is opening up at Universal Studios this year. We know there's been a ton of rumors regarding a potential 2D sequel to Donkey Kong Country, or maybe a 3D game in a similar vein of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We think it's about time Donkey Kong Country shows up in some form or another, though.
One of my favorite franchises has always been Kirby, and while I would love a mainline game for Kirby, Kirby has seen a lot of releases of mainline games on the Switch. So neither of us expect to see a brand new full release. We have seen some speculation of a Planet Robobot remake, and while that is likely, if that doesn't happen, a Epic Yarn remaster or a Canvas Curse remake would also be spectacular, and I would love either of them.
I think it'd be really cool to see another Canvas Curse, or even a remake of the original Canvas Curse. It's kind of hard to find. Speaking of remakes, Legend of Zelda rumors are going crazy right now in terms of what people think is going to happen. Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Link Between Worlds. Just so many rumors all over the place regarding a Legend of Zelda remake. That said, we're also hearing a lot of stuff about a Zelda-led game and some sort of new top-down 2D adventure game. We think it's more likely that it's probably going to be one of those HD remasters that was already released on the Wii U, so either Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I don't think Ocarina of Time is realistic. The other possibility is that we do see the Zelda-based game. I think for us personally, seeing a Zelda-based 2D adventure game would be the perfect combination of all of it. It gets us the new 2D adventure that we want. It gets us a Zelda-led game. That seems like the perfect combination, and it'd be really cool if it showed up.
And there was already Princess Peach Showtime.
It's a great point.
Why not make a Zelda Peach Showtime?
maybe a little harder. Just a little.
Yeah.
For the third game in a row, we have another remaster. In this case, it's Xenoblade Chronicles. So on the Switch, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3, which were made for the Switch. We have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was actually a remake of a game. The only one that's missing on the Switch of the newer games is Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's stuck in Wii U purgatory all alone by itself, but it seems like a great game. It looks beautiful. That seems like the perfect game to go ahead and bring over to the Switch. It could introduce a lot of fans to a game that they hadn't experienced before. It also, if it's successful, could give them an opportunity to kind of bounce back and forth between two different series. You could have Xenoblade Chronicles 4 come out when this new console comes out, and then you could go to Xenoblade Chronicles X2 if X is successful on the Switch. And then you could bounce back and forth, kind of like Xbox does with their Forza series.
Legend ZA made me extremely excited when I heard about it. However, all we really know is that we're returning to Lumio City in Kalos, and it will be releasing in 2025. When we saw the gameplay footage, however, it did not look like Legends Arceus that had come before us, and instead looked like it was going to be based off of Lumio City. So the question remains, will this be a new experience like Legends Arceus, or will it be the Legend Z that we all wanted? And that's why a gameplay trailer would really come in handy for this.
I think that's a great point. It'd be interesting. What if we're going to get a Pokemon City Builder?
That would be so cool.
Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. Maybe the Legends series is just something that they kind of spin off and do their own thing. It's like not really related. I don't know. But I agree with you. I think revisiting the Kalos region is going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of revisiting things that people seem to love, in our previous video where we kind of took our first stab at making videos like this, we suggested that Mario was definitely going to show up at the Direct. And we still believe that. But I think maybe we should walk back what we said originally, me being the primary advocate of maybe they're going to do a Mario Sluggers. They're going to do a baseball game. It's that time. We've had strikers, we've had tennis, we've had golf. It's time, right? We had some comments to that video which pointed out that the Paris Olympics were this year. I actually didn't know that. I'd kind of forgotten. So what's more likely is that maybe Mario invites some more friends over and they do Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Paris. I think that's probably the more realistic expectation going into this year, and I think that's what we'll see coming out of this conference.
Especially because I didn't even know Sluggers existed before you mentioned it, so that wouldn't be very popular. Splatoon 3 has been one of my favorite games recently, and I've been thinking about it a lot. If there's going to be a Final Fest soon, which would make a lot of sense, it would be nice for them to announce it at the June Nintendo Direct, and there's a lot of things to support that there will be a Final Fest. For instance, the last Final Fest for Splatoon 2 was held directly after Octo Expansion came out, which was the game's DLC, and it came out, and the Final Fest happened 2 years after its release. This Final Fest had set up the story for Side Order, Splatoon 3's DLC. And with Side Order now out on Splatoon 3, Splatoon 3's 2-year anniversary is soon coming up, so we'd expect a similar Final Fest to come up soon. With this Final Fest out of the way, they might even start plans for Splatoon 4.
That actually makes a lot of sense. This is something that you've kind of come up with yourself. You've talked me through this. You've actually kind of convinced me. And so I'd be very excited to see what they do. I had no idea that the Side Order DLC was actually spawned from the Final Fest that happened in Splatoon 2. And so I think you're right. If they're going to sunset Splatoon 3, which the last game was almost exactly 2 years old, I think you're ahead of the curve on this one. I don't know that many people see what's coming, although I do think it's a little funny that you say one of your favorite games lately has been Splatoon 3. I think one
Probably
of your favorite games
right
of your
now.
favorite games of all time is Splatoon 3. So
I mean,
that's when we started all of this,
Yeah.
was playing Splatoon. So I think that's a good call on your part. I'm very much looking forward to that as well. Our next two games, they're kind of stuck together. We've been hearing a lot lately about how Nintendo likes to finish games and then not release them right away. They kind of sit on them. The most recent example being Paper Mario. Apparently that's been done for about a year, and they just kind of sat on it. They waited for the right time to release it. And so this first title, F-Zero GX, makes a lot of sense if this is one of those cases. It would be the first mainline GameCube game in over 20 years. Now, I remember shrieking like crazy when I played that F-Zero game. It was so fast, I wasn't ready for it. I was a Mario Kart diehard, and playing F-Zero on the GameCube was really fast and really fun.
That kind of sounds how I used to be when I started playing F-Zero 99.
Right, and that's the most recent game we've had, right? F-Zero 99, which
But that's
you
just
were...
a remake.
It's kind of a remake, but it's kind of a reimagination at the same time, which makes you wonder, why would they put out F-Zero 99? Maybe it was a way to gauge the interest in the series. And so our hopes is that we actually see a whole new, full F-Zero game. The rumored name is F-Zero GX. I don't care what they call it. I want a chance at... Yeah, as long as it's new and as long as I get a chance at redemption at the new F-Zero games. The second game that we think that Nintendo has been sitting on is Fire Emblem. So, Fire Emblem Three Houses Fire Emblem Engage. Those are the two most recent Fire Emblem games. Apparently they were co-developed. They were made at the same time. Three Houses came out about 4 years ago, and then Engage was kind of held on to, maybe refined, until last year. They released Fire Emblem Engage, now Silence. So my question is, if that's true, if Engage was developed at the same time Three Houses was, what have they been working on since? The rumors are it's some sort of remake. Now the question is that remake Fire Emblem the original, or Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, or is it some other Fire Emblem in general? Mm-hmm. I think the important part is Fire Emblems is as popular as it's ever been. It makes sense to release it to keep up that excitement, and then maybe have some sort of follow-up to Three Houses come out on the new system, which they've said they will not be talking about during this press conference. The final games that we think will probably happen is Metroid Prime 2 and 3, or Echoes Corruption, remaster. We just got the Metroid Prime remaster. It was really well done. We've actually started to put together some videos. We're hoping to get that out to you soon. But if they did such a good job with the original Metroid Prime remake, imagine what they could do with the Echoes and Corruption sequels. It'd be really cool to have all of those games on the same console where you could boot them up and play them all in a row. It's really exciting. What's more exciting is if they're, oh, but we have one more thing, was Metroid Prime 4. This actually would work kind of perfectly. We know that game has been worked on or developed or something since the ending of Metroid Prime Corruption, which was 2007. Retro Studios hasn't been doing nothing. Yes, they rebooted Donkey Kong Country for the Wii years ago, but what have they been doing since? This would be the perfect title to both get people really excited about 2025, but also maybe kind of hinting at what this new Super Switch, Super Nintendo Switch, Switch Advance might be, because maybe that comes out and it releases on both consoles at the same time and it shows off what that new console could do. That way Nintendo didn't lie. They're showing us this new footage from this game that is more powerful than anything we've seen from Nintendo, but they're not explicitly coming out and talking about the console. And we think that would be the perfect way to end their direct and get everyone super excited moving forward.
Yeah, as long as there's a new Switch announcement, I'm fine.
I don't think that'll happen here, but we know it's coming.
Well, that's how Nintendo could have the best direct ever. The cool thing is that it would all be without a new mainline Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, or Kirby game, because they would be saving all of those for the future.
I think you're right. I think that is really exciting, the idea that they could have this amazing direct and not actually discuss any of their big franchises.
Yeah.
But there is one big question I have. We get all these rumors. We have Metroid rumors, we have Zelda rumors, we have Mario rumors. Where's the Star Fox rumors? It's been a really long time since we've seen him, and he is a big Nintendo mascot. I'd be dying to see what they have in store for him.
Well, that was our thoughts. What do you guys think? What games would be a dream come true for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, let us know by liking and subscribing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.